Welcome to the Know, I'm Ashley.
I'm John.
Hey, bad news, Switch owners. Oh no, that's me. A scary problem that no one likes to talk about or even think about is back.
Yes, we are seeing new reports of people's Switch tablets warping, this time out of Japan, as gamers have been posting shots of the tablet part of their console looking a little bent out of shape.
Now, it's hard to tell at this point if these are a couple of isolated cases or a wider spread issue, but over the last few weeks, a bunch of Japanese Switch owners have been tweeting pictures of their consoles, which are clearly getting bent.
No one has mentioned the warping affecting their gameplay, but obviously this is a problem for a console that doubles as a handheld device, especially considering that the Switch is only a few months old. What will the Switch look like in a year? Are they gonna have to rename it to the Boomerang?
That'd be a great, that'd be only in Australia.
I don't like that.
That's a rebranding specifically for APAC. The issue goes back to the beginning of the console's launch in March, because this is not the first time we've heard about it. Almost immediately on NeoGAF and Reddit, some people noticed the issue. One poster on Reddit noticed it bending after 40 to 50 hours of playing Breath of the Wild. The Redditor wrote about the issue. It does get very hot considering how small the system is, and it is outputting Breath of the Wild for long periods of time on a big screen. It may be too much for it to handle.
Yeah, that could be the problem. Of course, the Switch has been a huge success since it launched, selling more than 5 million units in total worldwide. It's marked a huge turnaround for Nintendo, which had been reeling after the failure of the Wii U. The Switch is so popular that it's been hard to even find one, even months after the release, and it's been helped by a lot of good exclusives like Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Splatoon 2.
Are you a squid or a kid?
I don't feel comfortable answering that in this room. But from the beginning, the Switch has also been dogged by a number of complaints about its hardware, and that's cast a bit of a shadow over an otherwise really bright success story.
Although, if we can just go ahead and back up really quick 1 second to people saying that like the Switch has been hard to find. If you find them in stores and they're just sitting in stores, I have a suggestion for you, and that is to buy that Switch and then sell that Switch to someone somewhere else in the country who can't find one. Go ahead, like add $20 onto it. People will probably be willing to pay that convenience fee. And then we get a nice balance of the market.
Thoughts? Is that what's happening? Is that like there's a bunch going to like Utah and people in California are like, give us your Switches back, Utah.
What's wrong with Utah?
Fucking Utah.
From Utah.
Let's keep going. You are?
Yes!
That's funny.
Yes, I'm from Utah.
Fucking Utah.
Kotaku has asked Nintendo about the Switch warping. So far, there's been no response. And with no official word from Nintendo on why this may be happening, people are left to speculate as to why their Switches are going into Gumby mode. Lots of people think it has to do with the Switch potentially being left in docked mode for an extended period of time. It does tend to output a lot of heat, maybe with not enough ventilation around it for the heat to disperse. There's been a giant thread devoted to the issue over on GameFAQs, where some speculate that the warping is caused by the plastic parts of the console bending as it heats up.
Others, they disagree and say that it might have been a flaw from the very beginning. One Redditor, hot diggity damn, noted that the Switch has a rather sturdy metal plate in the back that's going to need way more heat to bend than what a Switch will put out before the hardware shuts down. That poster theorized, likely, this is an issue with the injection molded plastic outer body, which gives the console an appearance of being bent, when it's really just a small flaw in one spot.
Hot Diggity Dad knows a lot more about manufacturing than I do.
Yeah, smart.
Regardless of the ultimate cause, the bendy Switches have fed into the perception by some that the console's launch may have been a little bit rushed, that they should have spent a little bit more time finalizing everything. They say that the bending issue and others should have been caught in regular quality control checks that you'd assume would go into a major product launch.
Nintendo needed the money.
No, they didn't.
So this isn't the first example that people have pointed to when talking about the Switch possibly being rushed to market. There's still no word about any virtual console for the Switch, and its online service won't launch until next year.
Well, it won't launch properly. They did partially launch it, because we've got games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and they kind of partially launched it for Splatoon 2 specifically, got their service up and running even though no one cares or will use it.
Kind of like it's partially working.
Yeah.
Oh, and this isn't the first hardware hardware issue either. Remember the whole left Joy-Con desyncing issue? That was a thing.
Yeah, a lot of people reported right after launch that their left Joy-Cons would periodically lose their signal and stop working, and then after a couple weeks of denying it and saying that maybe you should just be closer to the TV, Nintendo of America did finally say in a statement, a manufacturing variation has resulted in wireless interference with a small number of the left Joy-Con. Moving forward, this will not be an issue as the manufacturing variation has been addressed and corrected at the factory level. In fact, it was really fun. They said you could just, if you had one of those faulty Joy-Cons, you could set it in. You know what they added? A little bit of foam, just a little bit of shielding to keep interference out of the Joy-Con.
That's all it takes. Whether or not the bendy switches are a design issue or just a manufacturing variation's a fun way to put it, this is hardly the first time a console has had a hardware problem. You might remember the yellow light of death that affected some PS3s, and of course, the most notorious hardware defect of all time was the red ring of death, which sent many an Xbox 360 to an early grave.
I managed to red ring 2 Xboxes in one day.
Wow, that's talent.
And while the bendy switches might ultimately become a big headache for Nintendo, although they're not there yet. They've got a long ways to go before they can beat the carnage caused by the red ring of death. So far, we don't have a whole lot of reports of bendy switches. Maybe there were 2 earlier in the year, now there have been a couple more, so it's not just one case. But a Game Informer survey of nearly 5,000 readers in 2009 found that the Xbox 360's failure rate was like 54.2%. Which is a lot compared even to the 10.6% for the PlayStation 3, 6.8% for the Wii. So that's more than all of half. More than half of Xbox 360s died. So you're gonna have a long way to go before you can beat that Switch.
You can do it, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, the Switch is a long way to go before it can land on manufacturing defect Mount Rushmore. But in any case, it's still not a good look for a console that, while it's great, has definitely had some issues.
Yeah, a little bit, although I'm still willing to put up with them. But that's just me.
It's because it gave you Persona 5.
No, it didn't. The Switch did not give me Persona 5, and I'm still bitter about that.
Oh, there isn't on Persona on Nintendo,
yeah,
is it?
Thanks. Now I hurt inside. What do you think of the Switch's warping issue? Have you noticed a problem yourself? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your Nintendo news, including when they finally comment on the issue.
Or add Persona 5.
Add Persona 5, because that's going to hopefully happen someday. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Know.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I wish that it would. They are doing a Persona Q for 3DS. Pure Persona Q2 for 3DS and not Switch because...
Logic.
Sure.
Yeah.
One poster went on Reddit. They say the bending issue and others have been caught in regular quality control checks